Hi everyone, this is Jeremy. Welcome again to the Bright Local training series. This is the second video about how to use Bright Local, and in this video I am going to demonstrate how to create citations in Bright Local. So if you haven't seen how to create a location, be sure to check out the other video. And one thing I wanted to go over quickly in this video is how to log into the website too, just in case there is any confusion on how to log in. So make sure you go into login on the homepage, enter in the email address that is being used for this website, and then let's enter in the password. And then let's go ahead and log in. Oh, it would help if I could spell that right. There we go. Now we are logged in. And on the previous video, I demonstrated how to create a location, and I ended up creating the Mesa, Arizona location, which we can find here in the search. And so now we are going to create a campaign for that location. So let's go ahead and go to Citation Burst up at the top of the page. And because it is not already in here, you can search for existing campaigns or locations, but it's not going to be in there. So let's go ahead and start new campaign at the top there. Let's go ahead. So it's right at the top, but you can also search in the box there. Now, there's different ways you can do this. You can just leave the name that it gives you in here automatically. But because there are so many different locations for my Oryx store, I personally think that it would be easier to actually include more specifics, including the city name, and if there's multiple locations in that city, include a street name. So that way, when you get over to the citation burst page, it is more readily identifiable, because this is all it does. You can't even see the exact location name for that. So you have to go all the way to opening up that campaign to be able to see the city of that store. So it's a lot quicker if you can give that specific information right there. So the business details, this is actually the same exact information that we've had since we've created the location. So there's really nothing new we need to enter in there. This business doesn't have an alternative name or zip code or phone number from the past. So really, we don't need to worry about that. Let's go ahead and update location and other reports. Even though there's really nothing we need to update here, that's not really going to do anything for us. But let's check that anyways, and let's go to the next step. Now, just to warn you, as it's filtering the citations and finding the existing listings on the web, it says that it can take 2 to 3 minutes, but I found that it's actually double or triple that time. So it's going to be a long wait. What I like to do in the meantime is I like to go into the location details, which gives you that same information that you created when you made that location in the first place. And you can actually go in and edit any information that's changed. So let's go in and look and make sure that we have everything correct while we're at it. And it looks like we've got the correct address, the suite number, category, uh, phone number, zip code, correct website address. The contact information is still there and correct. The company details is same thing. Let's look at the description and services. I've had to go in sometimes and change the business categories to reflect options that we've deemed better to use. At one time, for example, I had appliance installation. Some of the past campaigns had been using that. And so we decided to update that with something else, and we ended up adding a new vacuum category in. And we have the correct services and products still. Looks like we have all the information that we want. Just to warn you, so it gets to the point you are bring in, providing all the information that you're to use for this case. Upcoming step that finishes up, not inverted, and I just couldn't figure out why it is, but you can't transfer pictures over, ironically. And so sure have access to the pictures. I know the URLs to however the pictures were placed in the first place, because you're going to have to re-upload them again when you get to that step. And perhaps it's because location photos could be easily updated quite often. I'm not sure what the thinking is behind that. Anyways, somewhat of inconvenience, but I guess it's not as bad as having to enter in all of this information again. If you want to, you always go into something else and continue to work on something else while this is processing, or you can have it email you to when it's completed. Of course, we're just going to go ahead and wait while we're only working on this location. But while we're at it, there's several other links here on the left side. It can also work with Google My Business, Google Analytics. You can look at the rankings for this. Our trial has ended, so that's really not going to work for us. But a lot of different features found over here in this section of the Bright Local website. While we're waiting, I should point out some very important information about paying for the citations. So when you go to submit the citations, it gives you a couple of payment options. One is to pay right away, to pay now. The second option is to pay with credits. You're going to want to pay with credits. And the reason is, well, at the current time, at least, yes, there are credits loaded to the account. So, yes, you can easily use credits at the present time. So there's no issue there. But the more important reason is that it is actually more expensive to pay now and not use the credits. We actually get a discount by buying credits. It's actually like $1 cheaper. So at least at the present time while this training video is being made, it's $3 to pay right away and $2 for the credits. So yeah, as more locations are purchased, it really makes a big difference. So again, make sure that you're using credits. And if more credits need to be added to the account, it'll tell you in step 2 how many credits there are. Here we go. The processing has finished. So if there are a few credits left, you're not going to have enough to finish the project, then go ahead and reach out through Basecamp or email to make sure that Boyd will then go in and add more credits so that you can finish. So here on step 2, we first choose either manual submissions or aggregator submissions. Now, aggregator submissions automatically distribute citations through these different networks. Now, what these networks distribute to is going to be something that you'll want to look into a little more on your own time. And I actually went here to the help section too and searched for aggregators. And then this is where I found it, aggregator distribution network. It'll actually tell you the different sites that they distribute to depending on which options you select. So in our case, though, we are not going to use the aggregator submissions just because they are actually a little more pricey, well, depending on what options you choose. But also, we deemed that we would prefer to use manual submissions for this specific project. So this project calls for 10 manual submissions. And so we don't want to select the option that says find and remove duplicate listings, or else that's a little bit pricier as well. So let's go ahead and scroll down. So that's 10 credits. And so we have 10 options to choose from down here. As you're looking through the different options, especially if you're going through a store that has multiple locations in one city, make sure that you are going to, or that you're filtering out any options that are referring to the wrong store, because otherwise, you're going to have information from one store for another store. That's going to cause massive issues. We don't want that to happen. And this is actually something over here, right on the right side. This can be used to report to Bright Local that an incorrect store is showing up in the listings here. As you're looking through the listings, quite often there will be address issues or zip code issues, sometimes phone number issues too. And since a lot of these locations barely transitioned over to my Oryx store, I'm also seeing quite a few with just sort of the wrong store name. There are some YouTube videos on this that can give you a little bit more information on how to sort through this information. I'm just kind of giving a brief overview right now, but one of the things you can see with some of these listings that they are part of the Yext network. So you could potentially see some duplicate information by trying to submit to multiple Yext network websites. And some of these cannot be distributed because of some restrictions in place. And so you just can't select those options. But it looks like as far as the information goes on here, this particular listing doesn't seem to be correct, but we can't update that anyways, so I'm just going to leave that. And then we have a few options selected down here. Now it gives you a citation value. Pay close attention to that because it'll help you decide on which sites would be the best to submit to. What would rank the best in the search engine results? And the authority also helps determine that too. So I'm actually going to go ahead and leave it at what we have right now. You can always save it and return to the campaign later. And then like it'll list it under the campaigns, and you can just go to the one next to the location that you were working on and say view campaign, and it will bring this back up. But let's confirm and continue. We confirmed it's just going to take 10 credits from the account for these 10 submissions, which is what we wanted. And on this last page that is pulling up, we need to confirm all this information about the location that we want to send in for the citations. If we can get it there. It's being a little bit slow. Hopefully it will go. Here we go. It's the final step. Okay, first option it talks about is do you want this campaign to be available on an external URL? Generally, yes, we are going to want this because not all of our clients are going to have access to a Bright local account. And so they're not going to be able to view these reports from the citation campaigns. So let's create an external URL to help them out with that. The business information looks correct still, Suite 101. Or www.myoricstore.com. Looks good there. The business information, number of employees, year of formation, and the short description of the business. So the categories that we still want, correct hours. As I warned earlier, it doesn't transfer the logo and location photos for some reason. So you always have to re-add those. A little bit of a pain, but it's not too much else that we have to re-add. There's those pictures. Social profile links. So in our case, this is the information we got to use for their social media profiles. So Facebook, they once were known as Oric of Texas before they expanded across the country. Their Twitter account, the LinkedIn URL, and finally their Pinterest URL. They don't have an Instagram, so we're going to skip that. Campaign notes. So this will help the team, the submission team, in finding issues with the maybe like the existing citations that are out there to be on the lookout for when they're updating it. And if there's different locations in the same city, you might want to make note of that so they can carefully look out for that. So in our case, one thing that I really noticed was that a lot of the locations didn't have the suite number. We'll say some citations do not list suite 101. Please watch out for this and update it. Really, there's different things you can put in here. It's totally up to you. It's just more for their reference. They'll probably still update everything and add these citations just fine. But again, it's just completely up to you though. We are going to submit a report for this campaign. And I don't know why it's duplicating this email address. That's interesting. Let's go ahead and delete that. But being really slow. Anyways, if you do say no, it's really not a big deal though. I mean, especially since there's a lot of locations that are going to be having campaigns going at the same time. It's really probably not going to make all the difference, considering we'll have people going on Bright Local and monitoring the completion of campaigns. So again, you can ask the specifics on that, but whatever happens in the end though won't make a big difference. So like I pointed out earlier while it was loading, there's the two payment options. Confirm and pay is more costly, and we do not want to do that option. Avoid that one at all costs. So go ahead and click the option that says confirm and pay credits. It gives you the option to go back to the last step or save. Again, this isn't something you have to do in one sitting. You can always go back and submit it later, but we're going to go ahead and confirm and pay using credits. And we have just been notified that 10 credits have been subtracted from our account. And here's our confirmation. So, it gives us information about when the submissions will be completed and when the campaign will be completed. So that's the demonstration on how to create a citation campaign. And again, if you have any questions on how to do any of these things, there's a help section here on the website. There are YouTube videos on how to do this. And also, you can reach out to anyone on Basecamp or through email. And hopefully everything goes well and smooth for you. And hopefully this training was helpful for you. Thanks for watching.